all races, like coming together and helping shape this from the ground up. So now you got little white kids growing up with black idols, and you got black kids growing up with white idols. And it's just this whole mixing pot. Nothing has brought more races and more people from all different walks of life together than hip hop. No music has done that. I don't think anything has done that as much as hip hop has.
So, if you have something that will grasp somebody's attention that much, music, right? Food is another one. If you have something like that and you can grasp the attention of somebody, even in the most hostile or chaotic or quiet or solemn circumstances, no matter what, it's a powerful tool. And what I've done is I've created a system and a tool together with music and this concept that we just listened to. I've put food into it, and I've created a way to be able to sit down and understand and learn about demographics and the interexchange of them. Not only have I been able to do that, but I've also developed a way to understand and talk to people that suffer from specific types of mental illnesses that would otherwise maybe put somebody in a predicament, a combative situation. Some people with behavioral management issues or behavioral mental health issues are aggressive and combative. So we found a way to be able to communicate and really learn about mental health and about all the little facets and all the things that people are uncomfortable about talking about and all the things that people are comfortable about talking about. We're able to get them in one forum, as opposed to being selective and saying, hey, we're going to talk about, this specific issue in behavioral health. We're going to talk about, these people with this specific type of diagnosis. No, we're not going to do that. We can gather all the data at once and then sort it and do what we want with it. But that's a whole nother story. Excuse me. Taco Talk is a therapeutic game. I used to call it a game show, but it's a therapeutic game that explores how demographics interexchange both highlights and assets to self and community, as well as the possible dangers that lie beneath intercultural diversity, bridging them with each other and the elements that create a platform that we call Taco Talk. The summit of this networking bivouac is an integrated food and music subculture that will serve as a focus on some of the outcomes. Not all results are typical, right? Not everybody has ADHD, not everybody is depressed, not everybody's bipolar, right? So you're going to have outcomes that are specific to the scenario or the diagnosis. Excuse me. Some of these are going to be delivered and explained in the form of an interview process. Normally I'm going to be serving tacos and have two people standing in front of me or sitting in front of me. And I'm going to ask a battery of questions that are semi-personal, name, age, race, ethnicity, identifier, your pronouns, so on and so forth. To give us an idea of the person, to get them to open up. We're having a conversation, right? The person is a willing participant, obviously. Excuse me. It's therapy, so this could be used in a setting where somebody was incarcerated. What I mean to say was involuntary. An involuntary scenario of therapy would be, somebody that's in prison and they got to take a class, or, somebody who's in rehab and so they're taking a class, right? They're in an institution. They're being subject to some form of, jail or institution or some sort of deal there. But this could still be used. You're still sitting down and you're still getting to understand the light facets of somebody's diagnosis. You're getting to understand how somebody feels. It's just a way to go about the therapeutic process with clients. We have a little history here. Music, hip-hop music, rap music in general starts in 1973, but we all know where the roots of music come. Music is as old as time, right? And so humans have a connection with music. Each individual person has their own preference to the type of music that they like. This specific type of music is going to access, moods, emotions, energy, or lack thereof. What's the word I'm looking for? Lethargy, right? We want to relax. So we're going to listen to some, I'm going to listen to some Johann Sebastian Bach. I start an assignment or I start to get cooking, I love hip hop music, but I'm going to throw on, something up tempo, right? I'm working, I'm getting busy, I'm prepping, I want to get my energy up. I'm listening to some Kendrick, I'm throwing in some Wu-Tang in there somewhere, maybe some Eminem, and then Metallica pops in, you want to get that high energy, right? And we're banging our head against no, we're not banging our head, but you get the deal. So we access these memories that we associate with the music or the song, the genre of music or the specific song that we're listening to access the certain energy or the certain emotion in order to get the energy, right? Once we do that and we have that access, the same thing, can be also said about food. I don't want to go into a boring history about how food started, but restaurants in particular, being able to serve people publicly, like I cook food and I sell it to you, or I cook food and I provide it to you as a stranger, starting in the mid 18th century. After the French Revolution, prepared food was only done and only prohibited inside of the castle. You didn't have a bunch of restaurants. You didn't have bistros. You didn't have places where people were like vending food or preparing food for other people. People cooked from scratch in their own homes and they cooked for their family, and that was it. I'm sure in marketplaces and in other, communes, way back then. But even then, it was like a chow hall scenario where, one person is cooking and it's very impoverished, so they're dipping the ladle in and everybody's getting their slop for the day. Anywho, after the French Revolution, chefs started opening up what's called restoratives. This is where the word restaurant comes from. It's a French word for restorative. You would stop on, your spice trade or on your route between, the Alps, between Italy and, France, or you're going to Austria or wherever you're going. You're traveling all in there and you come to this spot, kind of much like a tavern or a bar, but it would be, it's a restaurant. It would be a restorative, and you come in and they would have, 2 meals there. It's the soup and then, the special, the horse that died last week and is about to go bad, stuff like that. So that's where that comes from. And so the cultural interpretation of what is a restorative, and then just evolve all the way to our now speech is, where am I going to eat? What kind of place am I going to? We got millions of restaurants now. And so, we carry that all these years later. A social interaction. Where am I going to go? We're gonna have a business meeting. Well, pick a place to eat, or you take a date out. Where do you take this person that you're courting? Where are you taking them? Well, you might take them out for a meal, right? Social gatherings, homework. I used to do homework in a restaurant. My ex-wife, when we were first together, she worked at a place, and I would go after school and I would lay all my stuff out on, 2 tables or 2 booths in her section way off in the corner, and I would work on my spice project, or I would work on this. Yeah, that's a little bit unorthodox use of a restaurant, because you normally go and you sit down there. But however, it's not uncommon to have these types of things go on in there. Business meetings, right? You have bars, and especially dive bars where you're consorting with each other. I wouldn't want to say shoot dice, but you're shooting darts, you're playing pool, you're having a little bit of food and drink. The social aspect is connected to food in all these different areas. So this part of the brain, and the part of the ego, and the part of the attitude, and the very essence of yourself that is tapped in, or can be tapped into when engaging in these type of situations, in these places, is these elements from these places. If you could take that, these are perfect elements in order to really get to know somebody. You're sitting down and you're going out to eat. Just think about how many dates have you gone on sitting down to eat, and talking with somebody for you to get to know somebody. Excuse me. You take a lot of the elements out there. That's where you're extrapolating the data. So if I take out, the bits of the conversation that were boring, the drive to the restaurant, the useless 15-minute conversation that we had on discussing where we were gonna eat, like trying to figure out where we were gonna go, trying to figure out what we wanted to eat once we got there. All that other stuff, it took up time and really has more attention than the actual data that we want. So we eliminate all that other crap, and we sit two people down so that they interexchange and they learn about themselves. And while they're learning about themselves, then we can extrapolate the data from them learning about themselves and about each other. And then we throw some questions in there. We feed the knowledge and the wisdom and the sharing. We feed that in a healthy and controlled environment by asking specific questions. Safe questions. We don't want to get too deep into anything. Again, we can if we wanted to, right? It's very universal. But I mean, to keep things safe and to keep things positive, we don't want to start going and digging into anybody's repressed memories or anything. We could essentially do that if we wanted to, but for the purposes of this, that's not what we're doing. So we encompass the history and the parts of the history of the relationship and individually between music and food from someone's personal experience and point of view, with a respect to a specific time period and how that culture in that demographic interacts with others by having contestants. This is what I was talking about. And instead of just maybe the inner exchange, learning about each other as one platform, but now we're using this for mental health purposes. So we're talking about specific things. So now we're on a whole different plateau and a different platform here. We're on a different comfortability too. Right? Not a lot of people are sharing intimate details about themselves. Not a lot of people are talking about any type of mental health issues that they might have. So, this is another one. It's all fine and dandy once you get somebody to participate. And it's not really much. Just the people involved have to be ready and willing to be able to go through this therapeutic process. Even scratching the surface on this and playing with this at a very beginner to intermediate level is emotionally exhausting. Just talking about it, because of the foundation of it, I will be dead tired after speaking on this. The purpose is to educate and inform by discussing our cultural differences and our specific behavioral problems. What's the word I'm looking for? Stigmas, stereotypes, and anything that might make us feel uncomfortable regarding any diagnosis, treatments, medications, triggers, or behavioral ramifications from talking about, dealing with, or assessing mental health or behavioral health issues. I hope I made that point. I hope I didn't go. As a game, this would be considered meaningful play, if that means anything to anybody. In other words, there is a quantifiable outcome when done completely as a whole, and in practice. There's food involved, so people are getting a meal, little things like that. Even if there wasn't the food aspect involved in it, knowledge like this is invaluable. To be able to understand somebody in a degree that nobody else can is invaluable. Not only just as a whole, but to that person, right? If I share something very intimate with you on how to handle or how to identify when I'm having a panic attack, and how to help me through it, might save my life one day. And even in this video, if I even threw in here, even if I threw that aspect in this video right here, and 2 weeks from now, on the very last day of class, we're having a Zoom, and I start doing something that I explain is a trigger that I'm about to have a panic attack, and somebody else in class in the Zoom sees it, right? They might hit me on the side like, yo, hey Justin, are you okay? That might save my life, right? I'm strong. I have tools. I understand, that I'm safe. But nobody that has any type of mental health issues can ever say that they're completely okay, because if they were, well then, right? Where's the mental health issue then? Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm perfectly fine. Well, all right. So that's an argument in itself. The engagement begins with an introduction for the therapeutic purposes, right? I'm going to introduce myself. If I'm the facilitator, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to introduce, this is going to be in group therapy, obviously, right? I'm not going to take 2 one-on-one clients like HIPAA. This is going to be in a group therapy setting. And we introduce each other. We understand each other. We make sure that it's a respectful environment, and we understand what nature of questioning is going to be going on. Everybody got the same, little cue cards. We fill them out: name, birthday, or name, age, pronouns, any other identifiers. I make sure you tap your nose 3 times when you say my name, stuff like that, right? People get real finicky, and people are very sensitive when dealing with mental health. So based on the range and the scope of what you're speaking on is what you're going to have an allowance for. There should be subtitles going across the bottom of this as I'm speaking. If there is not, I apologize. I promise I tried to make sure that there was every accommodation possible for everybody to enjoy this video while we're on that topic. Yeah. So, although this idea has been turned into numerous things, one thing for certain, that this has been proven to be a very therapeutic on the streets, in rehab centers, and all over the community. We continue to deliver our message through all platforms in order to reach individuals. I speak about myself in the third person, in the first, second, and third person. I am me, myself, and I am Justin Alvis, the student. I'm also a man. Obviously, that's how I identify. But what I'm saying is, I'm my own person. And with that way that I identify, I'm a chef, and I own a business, and I wear many hats. And so me, myself, and I, we do things, right? I, me as a person, servitude, who likes to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, incorporates those things into Chef Elvis, who is also me. I'm a chef by trade. I incorporate these things that I like to do as a person into my professional life. So, I like to serve people. I like to feed the homeless. I got this whole thing that I like to do, in order to give back. And so I take that professionally, I transverse it into something else. While I'm cooking, nobody walks by me hungry. That's another one of my deals. Like, people hate it. I'm losing money out the wazoo. So people say, because, I'm just giving food away. Well, that's not the case. My business model is to make sure that I have 20% over what I'm doing in a night, so that I do feed the homeless. That's coming out of my pocket, is basically what I'm saying. Is I buy people dinner while I'm cooking, while I'm open for business. And people just don't get that. But hey, it's okay. Right? Me, myself, I. At the end of the day, I get done, I have to wear another hat. I'm a business owner. I'm not just a chef, but I'm a business owner. So I have to do my books, and I have to be responsible, and I have to adult, and I have to micromanage all the other stuff that I have going on in my other two lives. So, right, that's we. We. I'm my business, I am me, and then I'm a personal chef myself. I mean, two are kind of whatever. What this does is this helps people to understand about themselves. It helps them to be comfortable talking about any issues that they have. It helps me to be able to talk about these things, right? Sometimes it gets real embarrassing standing out on a street corner in the middle of BFE, I don't know where, serving the community and trying to make a living for myself and being able to talk to people. Especially when I have mental health problems. I have PTSD. And I fucking don't like talking to people. And the F-bomb is not to be vulgar. It's to put emphasis on how much I really don't like talking to people. I have a block there because of the trauma that I've been through. And so whenever I open my mouth, the way that I feel and where it comes from a certain place, and I speak from the heart, there's always something happens. And so I really don't I don't like talking to people. I'll make a video and then put it out there because I'm not listening to anybody's feedback right now at this moment. And so I can relay my message, but I'm trying to get my point across. And I got somebody that isn't respectful enough to keep their fucking mouth shut while I'm trying to speak, and that F-bomb is relevant too, because I do this out on the street. People are getting free therapy and free food, and they don't even know it. And I'm dealing with a demographic of people that are the least desirable to work with. Nobody wants to work with the people that I work with. And that's a reflection of self, and that's a reflection of my work and my worth. You want to know why? Because that's how I see, the way social work and human services and the mental health, especially in this state, but in Washington too. We pick and choose who we want to help and to the level of our comfort. And there's people who need help that aren't getting it because people are uncomfortable helping them. And people are uncomfortable helping me. And this is very strange because I'm starting to track and notice that I'm hearing the same thing over and over again now. And it's, what? It's in disbelief that I don't like talking to people, and it's a disbelief that people are very uncomfortable and don't want to listen to what I have to say. People are uncomfortable around me. I'm covered in tattoos. You see how I carry myself? Well, maybe not, but just look. You pay attention, you hear how I'm speaking. There's something's up, but you don't know what, and it's not that I'm not intelligent, because I'm very intelligent. You can hear that. I don't have to Google my words or look them up in the dictionary. These aren't just pieces of paper on the wall. Very proficient. But it's just, it's a thing. It's a personality type. People are taken aback by something, or they're distressed by something that they see, or the way a person may be acting, and so we're taken aback by that. That in itself needs to be addressed as a mental health issue. I'm kidding. That's how much I deal with it. We misunderstand things, and it is a basic assumption, but we misunderstand. So at any rate, I think I covered everything. Oh, I hope I covered everything, because this is an awkward pause. No. Taco talk. So, let me get this out the way. Not to rush through this, and I apologize for such a sloppy presentation. Having a line of questioning in order to highlight your med taking, your diagnoses, your treatment plan, experiences, the fact that you may or may not even have a mental health history, right? We essentially would use this and having an open mind, understanding that we're about to share we're about to share very intimate details about sensitive matter with other people. And so we shouldn't be too embarrassed, right? But there's a lot of respect that goes into that, and that needs to be had while doing that. So the information gained from that is like gold. And I just wanted to highlight that, and I hope I was able to I wanted to illustrate it for you the best that I can. That's why I'm being so long-winded. I want you to understand how important this is. There are people who deep down inside are fucking screaming for somebody to just ask them if they're okay. And it's not, it almost can't be their mom, their dad, even their teacher. It's got it, literally, it's gotten to the point where people are walking around almost wanting some Lifetime movie scenario where somebody who's, not too bad looking on the eyes stops them in the grocery store ever so politely at the very, very right moment when we are just so vulnerable inside to tell them that they mean something. Hey, you know what? I just wanted to tell you I care. Or I just wanted to tell you, I see your struggle. Right? We all carry stuff on us, and we all act out in our day-to-day life in a way that gives people on the outside a sneak peek at what's going on with us. And if you think that's not true, take a look right now. Hello? Right? We all carry stuff around on us. So, excuse me. This is like top 5. And we don't address it. We don't take care of it. We don't have a fund for it. Do we even have a budget? I'm not even going to pull up those numbers right now because I don't feel like getting pissed off on camera. What does our budget look like to take care of mental health issues here in our country? And this isn't even mental health issues that have been onset by any type of drug abuse. This is mental health issues like birth defects, all the way down to attention issues that all come from a multitude of things. People believe that vaccines cause them. And I'm not giving an opinion either way. I'm just listing things that are connected to and are causes of issues with mental health. Okay? Things as simple as divorce rates, right? Divorce rates. The economy takes a big bounce and people lose their jobs. People separate under stress, right? They get divorced. People split up. Now you have children who are in single family homes and shit's messed up when, it used to be mom, dad, me, little bro, house, dog, pool, 2 cars, toys, greatness. And then it's, the economy takes a dump and now it's, dad's got some weird, strange lady that smells funny with, funny clothes on in a hotel room. And mom's got, all of a sudden I got 60 different uncles. And they're all, 6 of them are black and 1 of them's Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of chaotic things that are going on with a child now. And now you don't traumatize this kid. Now this kid has mental health issues. Like, that stuff is birthed on our behaviors and our social structure. And people don't understand that. We act like this as a society. This then is how it affects the generation below us. And we don't give them enough respect to say that we shouldn't be exposing them to these things. But we do anyways. It's trial and error. And so then we find out, it's not so good to do that. And then we find out it really wasn't a good idea. Because we saw all kinds of red flags and things going off here. But then 10 years down the line, due to, overexposure and all these other things, we have major problems down the line. So this is why this is very, very, very important. It's not taken as seriously as people should. Mental health is like, seriously, top 5. It should be like, when you wake up in the morning, you should take care of brushing your teeth, taking a shower, mental health. Like, it should be in there, like, with, like, brushing your teeth and, like, eating, nourishing your body, and don't get at me about, like, some people don't eat. Like, stop. Nourishing our body is still important. Like, right, we understand the concept, and it should be, and it's not. It's literally, like, the last fucking thing anybody worries about. People are more worried about making sure that they have the new iPhone more than they're worried about making sure that they're okay. Facts. Check that up. That's a statistic. Oh, don't make me look it up right now. I'm not looking it up. Please mark the points off. Thank you for your time. And hopefully this video uploads in time to turn it in on time.